Hello, my name is Dominic James. I'm the radio teacher or the advisor for WHJE, the Carmel student radio station. It's student run. So my role with first year students, lab students, your students, or sons and daughters, is to teach them the ways of how WHJE and radio generally is run. As you can tell from my accent, I am not from around here originally. I'm from the UK, London specifically. I've been here for 5 years. I love teaching in this school. It's a fantastic place. I've got nearly 40 years of teaching experience, which I find terrifying. But my background is originally from English, theatre teaching, filmmaking, digital media, anything really to do with the interesting sides to communication, I would say. I've also been a departmental chair and assistant principal, so I've got quite a lot of experience of working with young, creative, large groups of people. So that's where I come from. What about WHGE? Well, it was founded in 1963 and has grown and grown during that time. It's very successful. We've got over 100 full-time staff members who work here really, who are part of the program, and your son or daughter, if they want to next year, can apply to be a full-time member of the staff here, and can do that every year for the next 4 years. Anyway, WHJE has a long tradition and history. We're currently actually the National High School Radio champions. We won that award last year, which is very exciting. And we are runners-up in the Indiana radio high schools as well, which we were awarded recently. So we are proud of the immense variety and quality of the work that's being produced by the students here. So hopefully your son and daughter will go on to join the full program and be part of that ongoing success. Now, what else do I need to talk about? What are we doing in the curriculum? Well, in lab class, as it's sometimes called, or first year, the basic idea is to equip the students with everything they need to know to be a broadcaster in an FCC licensed radio station. And it's a huge responsibility. Students need to be very aware of the rules and regulations, because if they get something wrong, the radio station is liable to a big fine, or we could even lose our license. So the students have to be fully aware of the responsibility that they take when they go live on air or produce material that's going to go onto the website and so on. So we try to inculcate various principles into them. How do we go about doing that? Well, to begin with, it's a fairly formal class situation. It looks like a more normal classroom than it does perhaps in staff classes. We're beginning by looking at the history of radio, looking at the important figures within that, about how radio was invented and some of the key legislation that has been passed in the last few years, or the last many years. We look at First Amendment rights, freedom of speech, the ethics of journalism, all those sorts of slightly more academic kind of areas, really. But at the same time, we try to look at the fun side to radio at the same time. We look at the history of music. So we've already started looking at blues music, rock and roll. We're moving into rock and so on. We look at different genres of music. WHJE is an alt rock station, so students need to understand what kind of music that generally is. That's what we play most of the time. They find out who Don Everly was, who Charlie Watts from the Rolling Stones was. You know, these huge figures who recently died, and why they're important in part of the history of music. So essentially, we want to try to skill them up and become music aficionados, so that they have a really wide eclectic tastes in music. So that's what we also try to instill in them as well. At the same time, they learn how to use the recording equipment. It's professional quality equipment we have here. How to use the audio software. Audition is what we use, and again, it's industry standard. They need to know how to deliver material effectively, not like umming and ahhing like I'm doing right now. They need to understand some of the technical aspects of the station, about how it actually runs, how the equipment works. They're not being assessed on physics as such, but they need to have a general understanding about how things work. And then finally, once they've kind of got most of that scary stuff under their belt, they will then start to broadcast live, and that will happen the next few months. To begin with, they will be quite closely supervised by an experienced staff member, probably a senior, and they'll be given basically increased independence and trust to be able to do that by themselves. And we hope they love doing it. If you need to get in contact with me, the best way is through email, djames3@ccs.k. .k12.us. I can't believe there are three D James at this high school. Canvas, obviously, you can get through to me that way. I hope the Canvas page is clearly set out. Just hit the modules page, and I put up every day what it is we're doing. If there's an assignment which is going to be assessed, I'll throw that into the assignment thing, so you can see those things coming up. And at the bottom, there are some resources which are hopefully clear to see as well. In terms of grading, different weights are given to the different sorts of assignment. There might be 10 or 20 or even 30 points, depending on how long I think it's going to take them and how much effort it's required to actually get to the end of the project. We don't have end of semester final exams in radio, but there will be an end of semester final project, which they'll be given maybe 10 days to actually get their way through and complete to the best of their ability. If your son and daughter is doing well and is considering moving on to do radio next year, for the second year, they need to apply to be a staff member in January. By that time, they should have a good idea, and I should have a good idea about whether or not they're going to make a success of radio in the future. But more information will come out about that closer to the time. I think that's probably all I ought to say right now, but I hope they have a great time. But if you've got any concerns, please reach out to me at djames3.